These Southern pan-fried pork chops are so simple to prepare and beyond delicious, and I'm going to show you a few ways how we can put even more flavor into them. You are going to love this recipe. The prep to make these is very easy, but let's not waste any time. Let's get right to it. Sound good? Let's cook.
We're going to kick this recipe off by small dicing up one shallot. So slice off the end, slice it in half, remove that outside peel, of course. And then, like I said, we want to small dice these. Now I'm going to set these to the side as a little secret for another way to add some awesome flavors into this fried pork chops dish. So put in a bowl. Next, we have 2 garlic cloves, which we want to finely mince. You can use a knife or, like me, run it straight through a garlic press. Set that to the side along with the shallots as well. Now, what I have is 2 large eggs in a pie tin. I like using pie tins to bread up because they cover a lot of surface area. If you have a large shallow bowl, that will be perfect as well. What we're next going to do is add in a ½ cup of buttermilk. You can substitute for a ½ cup of whole milk with 1½ teaspoons of vinegar. Next, we're going to season it up well with salt and fresh cracked black pepper. You could also add a dash of hot sauce in there if you'd like. We are going to use a fork. If you have a whisk, no problem. Mix this together until it is completely smooth, just like you're making scrambled eggs. Set it to the side. Now in a separate pie tin, I have 1 cup of all-purpose flour. In some of the recipes out there, you may see self-rising flour. You can use that, but I have a way to offset to help make it nice and fluffy. We're next going to add in 1 tablespoon of onion granules, followed up with 1 tablespoon of garlic granules. The next thing we're going to add in is a ½ teaspoon of ground cayenne pepper. If you want a little more, totally fine. Next, I have 2 teaspoons of sea salt, and now we're going to add in a ¼ teaspoon of black ground pepper. The next thing we want to do is add in a ¼ cup of cornstarch. That is my secret weapon to ensuring that the batter is nice and light and fluffy. Now use a fork or a whisk and completely combine it. Mix it together. Don't be afraid to taste it. This should be incredibly flavorful. This is what's going to season up your pork chops, my friends, so don't be afraid to add more seasonings if it needs it. In the meantime, let's get started by adding a 1/3 cup of oil to a large rondeau pot. If you have a frying pan, cast iron skillet, no problem. Another secret ingredient, I have a ¼ cup of rendered bacon fat. If you have some of this, gold, my friends. It's not necessary, but it will add to the flavor. We're going to crank the heat up to medium. Next, I have my pork chops. I have 6 5 to 6 ounce each bone-in pork chops. These are thin cuts, so they will cook very quickly. Now, you can use a double thick cut pork chop, but it will take longer to cook, and it could have a tendency to burn because it stays in the pan longer. So these single pork chops are perfect for this recipe. Now it's time to bread up, and you do it one at a time. Take your pork chop and put it right into the egg buttermilk batter. Coat it on both sides. Now transfer right over to the flour mixture. Now here's what I like to do. I like to switch hands. One for the wet, one for the dry. If not, you're going to have battered fingers, literally. They'll be chunky and huge by the time you're done battering this up. So switch fingers. Press the flour down into the pork chop. Make sure it's completely coated in that seasoned flour. Again, this is not going to only act as breading. It's going to help season up these pork chops. Then just simply set them to the side on a cookie sheet tray lined with parchment paper or a plate until all of them have been breaded up. Once they are, let's head over to our cooktop again where our pan has the hot oil. Let's give it a quick look. It should be about 350 degrees. If you don't know what that is, hit it with a little flour. If it fries but doesn't burn, perfect. Now what we're going to do is add in our pork chops. Be sure to take the time to spread them out a little bit. You don't necessarily want them touching. You want to make sure to get a nice sear mark on them. We don't want to steam them. Now because these pork chops are so thin, you're looking at only 3 to 3.5 minutes per side to be golden brown and cooked perfectly in the inside. Do not worry if they are not completely cooked through, okay? It's okay to eat pork these days at medium plus, okay? That's what we're looking for to make sure they're nice and tender. So after we flip them, again, just another 3 to 3.5 minutes. Perfectly golden brown, looks fantastic. What I like to do is just set them to the side on a sheet tray with a rack, let any excess oil completely drain off.
Don't worry, we're not quite done yet. I have one more way to make these incredibly tasty with a little homemade pan gravy. Here's how you make it.
We need to drain off most of this frying oil, and I just pour it into a heat-safe bowl. Return the pan to the burner with only 2 tablespoons of oil left. At this point, remember that shallot we chopped up? We are going to add it right to that oil, followed up with, of course, adding in our garlic. Now, this is going to cook very quickly. I'm talking 30 seconds to 1 minute. That is it. Our pan is already hot. Remember, we just cooked those pork chops. So move them around, stir them. You can use a spoon or tongs like I'm using. Then at this point, we're going to add in 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. We want to create a roux. We're going to make a very quick pan gravy. Pour in 2 cups of very good beef stock. It will almost thicken immediately. You will not believe it. Of course, season up that sauce with a little bit of salt and fresh cracked black pepper. Be sure to mix in all those ingredients using a spoon, tongs, whatever you have. See how thick it is? Absolutely perfect. Now what we're going to do is just bring everything over to the countertop and get ready to plate it up.
Simple, delicious, and when you continue to practice those fundamental cooking techniques, it will always elevate your everyday cooking, getting the oil temperature right, putting lots of flavor into the batter, that sauce. Oh my goodness, so tasty. I'm going to show you 2 different ways to plate this up. So good. Here we go.
So how would I plate this up? I'd serve it up with some creamy mashed potatoes, a side of slow-cooked green beans, hit that pork chop, top it off with a little bit of gravy, of course garnish with some fresh chopped parsley. Boom, absolutely delicious. Now, if you're serving this up to a bunch of guests or to family, I'll put it on a plate, fan everything out so everyone can see it. You could use a platter as well, no problem. And then pour some of that gravy all over it. Be sure to leave some to the side in case anyone wants a little extra. Hit it with some fresh chopped parsley. You could use chopped chives as well. And my oh my, let's get in this.